This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to do a quick comparison of the Lindt whole milk chocolate Santa Claus and the Milka alpine-milk chocolate Santa Claus. I say superficial because I don't even know what these here cost. I did receive both as gifts, and therefore this is going to be just a little hands-on look what these look like without the wrapper and how they taste. Let's take a look at the bottom right here. Pause if you want to read any of that. Okay, there is the price, $2.69 for the Lindt one. Is it here as well? No, the price isn't written on here. That's unfortunate. But yeah, pause if you want to read that. Let's take a quick look at the back of the Lindt Santa. Pause if you want to read the nutrition table right here. Pause if you want to read what's down here at the bottom. Pause if you want to take a look at the ingredients list right here and the message that tells us that this can contain hazelnuts and almonds and other Schalenfrüchte. This one here has a bell as well, which is nice. The other one has not. Pause if you want to read what's written here. Here we've got the ingredients list and the nutrition table in, well, not really a table form, which is a bit unfortunate. 45 grams of that. How much has this one got? 70 grams. Okay, that's quite a big difference right there already. So let's open up the wrapper of the Milka one first. I used to like Milka more than Lindt when I was little. I'm not as little anymore, but let's see how these fare up against each other. This is the molded Santa from Milka. Looks alright. It looks simpler of a design than it used to, I think. Like even the gift box right here, the present doesn't have the bands here, which is unfortunate. I think it used to have that. Let's take off the little bell. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, this one looks a bit nicer modeled in some ways. We do have gift wrapping material down there. We've got a horn as well. This one here doesn't have a horn. This one here tells us to be quiet. I do not know what he's up to. On the rear, yeah, the Lindt looks a bit nicer modeled as well. Molding wise, the Lindt one looks just a bit more detailed, a bit nicer in general. This one here isn't bad, but you know, this one looks a bit better. Size wise, they look similar from the front, although the Lindt one is quite a bit thicker than the Milka one. And of course we do have quite a bit more mass of chocolate on the Lindt one as well. Let's go for a smell test. The Milka one smells fine, and actually the scent of that one is exactly as it is in my memory. The Lindt one, it does smell a bit more fruity, if that makes sense. Fruity in the sense of chocolate fruitiness, which of course doesn't really make sense, but now I maybe do understand after all these years what people mean when they talk about fruity scent or fruity flavor, when they talk about stuff like chocolate. It smells richer. This one here does smell a bit paler when it comes to that rich chocolate smell, which is again a weird way to describe it, but this is just what I think about it. Okay, let's take off the head of this one. Take a look at the inside right here. Yeah, we're gonna get down to the bottom in just a second. Here up top, the thickness of the chocolate seems fine. Let's go for a taste test right away. Flavor-wise, this is certainly not a surprise. Unfortunately, something that I've noticed with Milka chocolate over the years is that while it does smell the same, it doesn't taste quite the same. I think it does taste worse than it used to. That entire flavor image, that chocolate flavor image, is not as rich, I think, as it used to be, and it does taste a bit more, I don't want to say synthetic, but a bit more artificial than it should be, maybe. That is something that wasn't the case at all a couple of years ago, but I think they dialed down the quality a little bit, maybe. I mean, Lindt did as well, but usually Lindt still does taste a bit richer. Let's see if this is the case for the center right here as well. Now this is actually a bit of a surprise, because I've got to say that in comparison to the Milka flavor, the flavor of the Lindt is a bit richer. It tastes a bit softer. It doesn't have any of that slight artificial flavor maybe. But something that I do have to say is that aside from the lower amount of sweetness that is in here, it tastes duller. It doesn't have like a proper interesting chocolate flavor to it. It tastes dull. And that is something that I didn't really expect from this, because in my head I had a very positive image of the Lindt Santas. It's been a while since I had my last one, but yeah, I didn't quite expect that. It's a weird way to describe, once again, a flavor of chocolate, but it tastes duller. It doesn't have that creamy, rich chocolate flavor to it that it used to have. Maybe this was just the head though. I don't know, the brain in there doing some weird stuff. Let's go for an arm. No, unfortunately the arm tastes just the same, and this is something that I didn't really expect flavor-wise, comparing these two. I thought that the Lindt is just going to be better than the Milka, because my preference of chocolate flavor has kind of changed, or maybe it was just the recipe, I don't know. But it is not as clear-cut making a decision between these two as I thought I would. I think I'm gonna finish off these two, and I'll be back with you in just a second, and hopefully a made-up mind. The consumption process is complete, and we are ready to rate these without the review sheet today, because this is more of a superficial comparison and not an in-depth review of either of those. Something I want to say though is that neither of these two has met my expectations. As a rough rating, the Milka one gets a 5 to 6 out of 10, somewhere around that. The Lindt one gets a 6, maybe 6.5 to 7 out of 10, because it does taste better than the Milka one, but it's not great, and certainly not what you want it to be for something that is supposed to be a special thing right around the Christmas time. Let me start with the Milka one. Now, the Milka chocolate does taste like Milka chocolate, it smells like Milka chocolate, but it tastes like Milka chocolate that has become cheaper. It does remind me of cheap Aldi chocolate more than it has any right to, because you're buying a brand product, you're paying a brand product price for it, but it doesn't live up to the flavor expectation at all. It is quite sweet. For me personally, it is a bit too sweet in flavor. The richness of chocolate flavor is simply not given in a way that it should be for something like this, and overall it does taste a bit artificial. It reminds me more of these cheap Aldi advent calendar chocolates than it ever did before, and that is certainly not something that you'd want a brand product like this to remind you of. Because of that, I think that this one right here doesn't really deserve a higher rating than I have just given it. The Lindt chocolate does taste better. It does taste rounder when it comes to the chocolate flavor, a bit milder, less of that sweet flavor, not as artificial as the Milka one. It doesn't remind me of Aldi chocolate in any way, but something that is still a bummer about this one is that the richness in chocolate flavor still isn't there as it should be. When you think of a decent whole milk chocolate, you have that creamy chocolate flavor, but the creaminess is here without the richness in chocolate flavor, if that makes any sense. And that is still quite unfortunate. Something that I've always loved from Lindt were these little golden bunnies that you get for Easter. I do not know what kind of chocolate they put in there, but I do prefer that over this one right here. Maybe those have become worse as well, I don't know. Or maybe this is just because this is whole milk and not just regular Lindt chocolate that they put in these. Honestly, I'm not quite sure, but something I'm sure of is that I'm left disappointed by both of these. The Lindt one, not as much as the Milka one, but still, this is not as good as I thought it would be, and that's a bit of an unfortunate resume when it comes to the conclusion of a video like that. Anyway, maybe I'm gonna make another video next year, the same time around, and see if these have become better or worse. We'll see. I think they've got a direction set, and I think they're not gonna diverge from that particular path. And I do think that you know what I mean by that. In any case, if you've got a question or if it is a suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.